The little girl does not know why her feet stop moving, but they do, and the snow crunches softly beneath her boots as the crowd keeps flowing around her. The air smells like roasted nuts and cold metal and pine from the trees tied to lamp posts. Music drifts from somewhere unseen, and it makes the night feel gentle but also strange, like something important is hiding underneath it all. Her father walks a few steps ahead before realizing she is no longer beside him. He turns with a distracted smile, ready to remind her about the cold and the late hour, but the words stay in his throat when he sees her face. She is not whining or bored or tired. She is looking at something with a seriousness he has only seen once or twice before. Across the street, a woman sits against a brick wall. Her back is straight but tired, like it learned not to expect help. A thin blanket rests over her shoulders, and her hands are tucked beneath it, as if holding herself together. The lights above flicker softly and paint her face in warm gold and shadow, making her look almost unreal, like part of the city itself. The girl feels a tightness she cannot name. It is not fear, and not sadness exactly. It feels like when she sees a hurt animal, and knows she should be careful but still wants to come closer. She squeezes her mittens together and takes a small step forward, then another. Her father watches her move and feels a ripple of unease. He knows this street, he knows the rules people follow. Without saying them, keep walking, do not stare, do not invite trouble. Tonight was supposed to be simple: hot chocolate at home, a movie, warm blankets, safe routines. But the girl does not know those rules, or maybe she does and chooses not to follow them. She tilts her head as if listening to something deeper than sound. She notices how the woman does not look up at the noise or the lights. She notices how the snow settles on the hem of her coat and stays there, untouched. The city feels suddenly quieter to the father, as if holding its breath. He senses that this moment is stretching wider than it should, that it is becoming something else, something that will not let go easily. The girl finally turns back toward him. Her eyes are wide and shining, not with excitement but with certainty. She opens her mouth to speak, and before she does, the father understands that Christmas Eve has already changed, even if he does not yet know how. The woman remains still as the people move past her, like water around a stone. She has learned that stillness keeps her safe, that asking invites disappointment. Her eyes follow shoes more than faces, boots, rushing heels, clicking, families laughing. Without looking down, the cold settles deeper than the weather. It lives in her fingers, her knees, her thoughts. She counts breaths to stay present, and reminds herself that tonight will pass just like the others have passed. She tells herself not to look at the lights, because they make memories louder. From where she sits, she notices the little girl before the man. The child is not rushing, she is not being pulled along. She is standing in that rare space where curiosity meets courage. The woman almost looks away, because hope has become a dangerous thing. She remembers other winters, other Decembers, when her hands were busy wrapping gifts and stirring soup, when laughter filled rooms she believed would always be there. Those thoughts come uninvited, and she pushes them back, focusing instead on the pattern of snow gathering on the ground. The man stands beside his daughter, uncertainty written in his posture. He looks like someone weighing consequences, measuring risks, trying to decide what kind of person he will be in the next few minutes. The woman recognizes that look because she has worn it herself in moments that changed her life. She wonders what they see when they look at her. A problem, a warning, a mirror. She wonders if the girl will stare and then move on like so many others have done. The woman prepares herself for invisibility, because it hurts less than rejection. The girl takes a step closer, and the woman finally lifts her gaze. Their eyes meet, and something quiet but powerful passes between them. The woman sees no judgment, their only attention, pure and steady. The kind of attention that says you matter, even when the world has forgotten. For a moment the woman feels warmer, and it frightens her, because warmth means vulnerability. It means believing that this night might be different. The city hums around them, but in that small space time slows and waits for what will happen next. The father feels his heart tighten as he watches the exchange unfold. He has seen kindness before, but this feels heavier, more deliberate, like a door opening that cannot easily be closed. He shifts his weight and glances around, aware of the city and its dangers, and the quiet rules that keep people safe. His daughter does not ask permission to care, she simply does, and that both frightens and humbles him. He wonders when she learned to see pain so clearly, and why it feels like she has always known how to respond to it. He thinks about responsibility, about promises made when he became a parent. He thinks about how easy it is to explain the world instead of changing it. Tonight, the explanations feel thin and insufficient. The woman does not speak, and that makes it harder. The father is used to problems that can be solved with words or money or distance. This one asks for presence, and that is something harder to offer. He kneels slightly so he is closer to his daughter, eye level with her. He wants to guide her without dimming her light. He wants to protect her without teaching her fear. The city noise fades into the background, and he realizes this is one of those moments that defines people, the kind that will be remembered long after the details blur. He looks from the woman to the girl, and understands that whatever happens next will stay with them all. He draws a breath, steadying himself, preparing to choose not the easiest path but the truest one. The girl steps forward slowly, feeling the cold bite at her cheeks, but she does not stop. Her heart beats fast, yet steady, as if it knows where it is meant to go. She holds her mittens tight and then loosens them because her hands feel too closed for this moment. The woman watches her approach with caution, layered over exhaustion. She has learned to read disappointment early, to brace herself before it arrives, yet there is something different in the way the child walks, not rushed, not hesitant, just honest. The girl smiles, not wide or forced, but small and sincere. The kind of smile that does not ask for anything in return. The woman feels something shift inside her chest, and she lowers her eyes briefly, unsure how to receive such a thing. The father stands a step behind, close enough to intervene, yet far enough to let the moment belong to them. He feels his breath slow as he watches his daughter kneel slightly to meet the woman at her level. The girl pulls one mitten off and offers it without a word. Her fingers are pink from the cold but steady. The woman hesitates, her pride flaring for a second, before the cold wins, and she accepts their hands brush, and the contact is brief but grounding. The woman feels human again, not a shadow, not a warning, just a person being touched with care. The street continues to move around them, but something fragile and meaningful has taken root, and none of them can pretend it has not. The father looks down at his daughter, her small hands still trembling with hope, and the little dog shivering beside them. He takes a deep breath, trying to imagine the nights of care, the walks, the feeding, the vet visits, and the responsibilities that come with bringing a stray home. Yet when he looks into the eyes of his little girl, he sees something that melts away all hesitation, something pure and unwavering, her faith in the goodness of the world and her belief that they could make a difference together. He bends down to her level and brushes the snow from her hair, her cheeks pink from the cold, and smiles softly. "You may bring her home," he says quietly, and for a moment the world seems to pause around them, the traffic, the laughter of passing strangers, the distant carols, all fading into a hush that belongs only to them. She gasps, a small sound of disbelief, her hands flying to her mouth, her eyes glistening with tears of joy, and before he can blink, she throws her arms around him, hugging him tightly, pressing her face against his chest, and the little dog inches forward, sniffing their feet, its tail wagging slowly at first, then faster as it senses the warmth and safety in the presence of these two humans who are now its new family. She steps back slightly and kneels beside the dog, her fingers brushing through the wet matted fur. She whispers softly, "Don't worry, we will take care of you, we will keep you safe," and the little dog tilts its head as if understanding the promise. Her father watches, quietly feeling a swell of pride and love for his daughter, and a strange sense of wonder at how a single question can change the course of the night, and perhaps even their lives. He reaches down to pat the dog gently on the head, and feels the small heartbeat under its chest as the dog leans into him, seeking warmth and trust. The little girl laughs, a sound that is pure and ringing in the cold air, and the snow continues to fall around them, sparkling against the lampposts and rooftops. She picks up the little dog, carefully wrapping it in her scarf, holding it close to her heart, and says quietly but firmly, "We are going home now." The father nods, still kneeling beside them, his eyes reflecting the soft glow of the Christmas lights, and the decision that seemed so difficult a moment ago now feels inevitable and right, as if it was meant to be. All along the city carries on around them, but in this small frozen corner, the bond has been formed, and nothing else matters except the warmth, the promise, and the love that has begun on this cold Christmas Eve. The little girl wraps the dog tightly in her scarf, holding her close to keep her warm as they step carefully through the snow, the crunch of their boots echoing softly in the quiet streets. Her father follows behind, carrying a small bag with a blanket and some food. The city lights shimmer against the falling snow, making everything look magical and unreal. She hums a soft tune to calm the little dog, whose ears flick nervously at each passing sound, but slowly she begins to relax, her tail wagging slightly. The girl glances up at her father and smiles, her cheeks pink and cold, and he smiles back, feeling a strange mixture of pride, relief, and wonder that a single decision can create such joy. The streets are mostly empty, but the smell of pine and roasted chestnuts drifts from nearby shops, making the night feel alive and festive. She skips a few steps forward, then stops to let the dog sniff a lamppost, pausing to catch her breath, and the father crouches to brush snow from her coat. They continue walking slowly past windows lit with Christmas decorations. The girl talks softly to the dog, telling her they are almost home and she will love her forever, and the dog presses against her chest, leaning into her warmth, each step bringing them closer to the place where she will be safe. The father watches them both and feels a quiet happiness swelling in his chest, knowing that this night is not just about Christmas, but about love, trust, and the beginning of a bond that will last a lifetime. The snow falls gently around them, and the city hums softly in the distance as they make their way home together, hearts full and spirits light. Once they reach home, the little girl carefully opens the door and steps inside the warm glow of the living room. Embracing them instantly, she sets the little dog down on the soft rug by the fireplace and watches as she sniffs curiously the warmth of the room, making her relax slightly. The girl runs to the kitchen and fills a small bowl with warm milk. Returning to kneel beside the dog, she holds the bowl gently and says, "Here you go, sweet girl." The dog hesitates for a moment, then laps eagerly at the milk, her tail wagging faster with each sip. The little girl strokes her head softly, whispering, "You are safe now. You can stay here as long as you like." The father watches quietly from the doorway, a soft smile on his face, feeling the quiet magic of the moment. He can see the bond forming instantly between his daughter and the little dog. The girl sets up a small blanket for her on the rug, arranging it carefully. As if preparing a tiny bed, she sits beside her, humming a low tune. The dog leans into her warmth and rests her head on the blanket. The little girl whispers softly, "I promise to take care of you," and the dog closes her eyes for the first time, fully relaxed in the safety of her new home. The father feels a swell of pride, knowing that his daughter's kindness has created a home not just for the dog, but for a new chapter of love and companionship. As night deepens, the little girl curls up beside the dog on the soft blanket, her fingers tracing gentle patterns through the fur. The dog leans into her warmth, nuzzling her softly, and the girl whispers secrets of her day and dreams of the future. The father watches quietly from the doorway, the soft glow of the fireplace illuminating the room, and he feels a quiet happiness swelling in his chest. The bond between them is instant and unspoken, a promise of love and loyalty forming without words. The little girl laughs softly as the dog nudges her hand with her nose, and she giggles, the sound pure and ringing through the room. The dog closes her eyes, resting her head on the girl's lap, and the girl hums a low Christmas tune, a sense of calm and belonging settling over them. Both the father smiles, knowing that this Christmas Eve has become more than lights and presents. It has become a story of connection, warmth, and the beginning of a lifelong friendship. The snow continues to fall softly outside, blanketing the world in white, and inside the little girl holds the dog close, her fingers tangled in the soft fur, and she whispers softly, "I promise to take care of you forever." Her eyes shining with determination and love, the dog lifts her head, looking at her with trust and curiosity, and then rests it back against her chest. The father sits quietly nearby, watching the scene unfold, feeling a warmth in his heart that he cannot put into words. He remembers the moment on the street when his daughter asked him if they could take her home, and now seeing them here, he understands the power of kindness and the way a single choice can change lives. He thinks about the years ahead, the walks in the park, the cold nights warmed by blankets, the laughter, the occasional tears, and he knows that this night will always be remembered. The little girl hugs the dog, tightly feeling her heartbeat, and listening to its soft rhythm, she whispers again softly, "I will never let anything happen to you." The dog tilts her head and lets out a small contented sigh, settling fully into her new home. The father leans back against the couch, watching them both and feeling a quiet joy that is bigger than Christmas, bigger than the snow, bigger than anything he has felt before. He knows that this night has created a bond that will last forever. A story of love, trust, and the magic that comes when hearts are open and kindness is chosen. And outside, the snow continues to fall, covering the world in stillness and light, while inside, a little girl and her new companion begin a life together, filled with warmth, hope, and the unspoken promise of forever.